world where your favorite brands are just a text away, offering personalized recommendations and instant support right in your WhatsApp chat. Well, that's the reality LimeChat.ai is bringing to life. Welcome to Follow Startups. I'm your host Ankita Pahwa, and today we have with us Aniket Bajpai, the co-founder at LimeChat.ai. As a seasoned entrepreneur with two startups to his name, Aniket is an expert at WhatsApp commerce and an advisor to over 300 e-commerce brands. Hi Aniket, welcome to Follow Startups.
Hello, Ankita. Very excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Aniket. So, before we dive into the details about LimeChat, could you please take a moment to introduce yourself? Like, tell us a bit about your background and how you found your way into the world of AI and conversational commerce.
Thanks a lot for the generous introduction. And my journey in AI actually started more than 10 years back. So I did computer science and engineering at college with a focus on AI research. So I went to IIT Delhi, and there I got interested in AI right from my first year of college. And ended up doing all my internships around that. And eventually, I was able to intern at companies and at universities both, and then do AI research at IIT as well. And I ended up publishing a lot of papers in AI. And this was a very exciting time in AI, because at that time deep learning had just started. So you image recognition and um, like text recognition, natural language processing were one of the first wins from AI. And then towards the end, like when I was graduating, we could see that there are going to be breakthroughs coming in large language models, which have actually resulted in Chat GPT today, right? So I was very excited about AI. So I did a lot of projects. I worked with companies, and eventually after my undergrad, I ended up going to MIT to do AI research. Mm, but at the same time, I was actually more interested in applying this technology to solve real world problems. And research is very far from that, right? It is working on core technology. So I decided to drop from there, come back to India, and then I met up with one of my batchmates from IIT, who was now my co-founder, Nikhil. And then we started our first venture together. And then we were able to run it for a year. We were able to exit in 2019, and then in 2020 we actually started LimeChat. And 2020 was also a very exciting time. All right. First, obviously, COVID had happened, and there were a lot of changes happening in the world because of that. Right. People who were used to buying offline were now forced to buy online. There was this huge wave of online commerce happening, D2C brands starting up, people buying directly from websites. But the infrastructure to support these brands had not been built. Right. So for example, like the traffic to online websites was increasing crazily, right? Brands were getting 3x, 5x more traffic compared to the last year. But the way they were doing support and the way they were doing marketing was stuck in like a previous era. So I remember I had to actually order a chair, and it took almost 45 days to come, right? Because even a chair we had to order online during that time. And in that 45 days, I had to get on like numerous calls with agents, write emails, wait 2 3 days to get replies. And it was a very horrible experience. And we realized that if a brand is scaling very fast, they cannot actually add more people in their support team and give a great support experience. They would actually have to leverage automation and AI to give that experience. Otherwise, they would actually end up acquiring a lot of customers, but none of those customers would keep coming back, right? Because the support experience would be horrible. So that is when we decided to actually try this out. And we ended up making like the first automated support bot for e-commerce brands, right? And we start that is how we started in 2020. Over
So,
time, it actually scaled to people actually coming to WhatsApp not just for support but for buying stuff, for getting marketing messages, and for ads and much more.
so, zooming in on LimeChat.ai, tell me what exactly it is and what pain points it aims to resolve for businesses.
So we work with large e-commerce brands, D2C brands primarily. These brands have two main problems, right? They want to actually drive retention to be profitable, and they want to give a great customer support experience to their existing customer base without adding too many people to their team, right? How we help them is we help a brand um, uh, deliver like a great support and marketing experience on WhatsApp for their customers. So they can actually drive a completely automated support experience without having too many support agents on WhatsApp itself. And they can drive a great post purchase and retention experience for their customers also through WhatsApp.
So, Aniket, I also came across a very intriguing statement on your website. It said level 3 AI will be the final piece of the puzzle to build store like experiences on chat, catapulting brands into C commerce globally. So, a couple of questions here. First of all, what exactly is C commerce? And second, could you walk us through the technology that you use and how LimeChat integrates it into offering e commerce brands a store like experience?
I'll tell you first about c-commerce, right? And this is like one of the biggest bets we have taken at LimeChat. This is our core thesis that we believe that 5 years from now, most of the online shopping is not going to happen on websites but on chat. And the reason for that is because chat is going to be a much more engaging medium. When you go to a website, right, you have to do all the work. You have to click on various products. You have to type something in a search bar. You have to then read a lot of descriptions. Then you have to think, is this right for me? Right? You have to read reviews and build the trust. So there is too much work to be done. And today's customers are very lazy. They don't want to do any work. Now, if you go to a store, the experience is very different, right? If you go to buy clothes, right, there is going to be a guy who's going to stand there. He's going to show you three clothes. He's going to ask you, what are you looking to buy, right? Is there some specific occasion, right? And then he might ask you your favorite color or design. He will then show you only relevant things. He will observe how you are reacting to that, and then he might show you more options. And you don't actually need to look at 100 things, right? You will look at 10, 20 things, and then you will buy something, right? And But this kind of experience has not been replicated in any online setting. So what we are setting out to do is we are going to use AI, and we have built this kind of experience on chat on WhatsApp directly. So you can go to WhatsApp and directly start chatting with a brand as if you are in their store. So you can just tell them, hey, I'm looking for a black dress for a party next week, right? And this is the price range that I have. What can you suggest for me? And then you can say, no, I don't want it like in this cut. I want it in this cut. And then like I if you see three options, you can say, I like the third one better. Show me more like that. And eventually you can like just discover, narrow it down, build some confidence and buy. Um, Especially like in beauty, personal care, health and nutrition, there are so many brands, right? You can just say that, hey, I'm suffering from hair fall, right? I have been trying out these diets. What do you have to help me in the best way, right? So you can get the best products, you can get the best routines from a brand right there on WhatsApp, and it's not going to be like that tons of information which you see on a product page. It will just be like two, 3 points which are relevant to you, right? So that is the kind of experience which you are able to create. Now, if you are a customer, right, you would have never seen this kind of experience. So what is really happening differently, which makes this possible, and that is where our tech comes in. So we were one of the first to build something called Level 3 AI. And essentially, like this is a GPT powered experience, but built for a certain domain. In this case, it is e-commerce. So we are able to take the power of GPT. We are able to, if you look at how WhatsApp experiences or chatbots are today, they are very click based, right? So we are able to take the benefit of click based experiences and marry it with like the benefit of free text GPT based experiences. So you can get your question answered, as well as it will take you step by step to throughout the entire buying journey, right? And that that is supposed to create that is going to create such a big wow experience for you that it will actually lead to a shifting of behavior from people buying on websites to people buying on WhatsApp.
Yes, that definitely sounds like a game changer for e-commerce brands. And speaking of them, we would love to hear some of the names of businesses that are associated with you and are using LimeChat.ai for their success.
So we work with several large enterprise brands as well as D2C brands, right? We work with brands like HUL and Aditya Birla Group and TCNS Clothing and RPSG Group. And on the D2C side, we also work with brands like Wow Skin Science, Kapiva, Snitch. right? Many of the large, growing and upcoming D2C brands as well. And we help power their support experiences, buying journeys, and marketing on WhatsApp.
Amazing. So, Aniket, what stage is LimeChat.ai currently at in terms of its development and market penetration?
We are currently at a seed stage, right? If I tell you about our journey, our main aim is to actually create this kind of disruption in e-commerce globally, right? By powering this WhatsApp experience. For that, we have picked India as a beachhead market because that is where the penetration of WhatsApp is highest in customers, and brands have been very, very quick to adopt this in the last 3 years. So in India, we are working with almost 300 brands, right? In terms of large brands, we have a very large market share. Like there are only like 1,500 brands in our profile, out of which 300 work with us, right? We have a good chunk of the Indian market. We have shown a lot of value. We have a lot of great customer stories to back us. And from this beachhead market, now we are looking to expand into larger markets, especially in the UK and EU, right, where we have already started gaining traction. So we have raised some capital also, which has helped us reach this stage.
Speaking of that, tell us who are your investors and how much capital have you managed to raise so far?
So we have raised money from Stellaris Venture Partners and Pi Ventures. Totally, we've raised around $5 million of funding over split over like 2-3 rounds, right? And so that has been like roughly a seed stage funding which we have raised.
And are you looking to raise any further?
Hmm. Currently, we are not looking to raise actively because we are growing in a very sustainable manner in all our markets. But yeah, it is open for later. We'll keep on deciding after thinking about it in depth, right? Every 6 months.
That's amazing. So, would you be willing to share any significant business numbers that you are particularly proud of with our audience? I'm sure they would love to hear some of those.
The numbers which excite me the most is actually how much value we are able to drive for our customers, right? And in many cases we are able to drive 30-40% of their entire revenue from what entire online revenue rather from WhatsApp, right? In general we are able to drive 10% of a brand's revenue from WhatsApp. And for us we are like uh, we are very fortunate that all of this value which we have driven for brands has translated into our own growth. And we are working with 300 brands. We are at around $2 million of ARR, right? And we are also growing constantly. So that is something which constantly excites me.
Touching upon your revenue model, Aniket, tell us what's your revenue model and how does LimeChat.ai generate it? And when it comes to pricing your services, what's your approach?
So we follow a SaaS based model where you can we have several plans and you have to decide what kind of things you want. Like to make it very simple, you have one plan which will help you with your support and support automation, and one plan which will help you with WhatsApp marketing, right? So
Mm.
we sell these two plans, and for each of them it's a monthly platform fee, and there is a small usage based fee also on top of it based on the number of conversations that you have with the chat.
Interesting. You also mentioned your co-founder, Mr. Nikhil. Could you tell us about his background and how you met him and what role does he play at LimeChat.ai?
Yeah, Nikhil, I know Nikhil for more than 10 years now because we were batchmates in college. He was also very deep into AI research, and both of us were very excited about AI in college. At the same time, like both of us had this long-term vision of getting into entrepreneurship, which is why like both of us like left our very high-paying jobs to actually just directly drop out and start entrepreneurship right after college. Right, and so we did our first company together, and at LimeChat, he actually looks after our product and tech and HR and also at our UK growth as well.
So with the two of you, Aniket, tell me how big is your team and how are the roles divided within the organization?
We have a team of roughly 50 to 60 people now, right?
Okay.
I take a look at marketing, sales, and our customer success functions, while Nikhil looks after product, tech, finance, and HR, like other very core functions too, which help in like supporting the overall business. So that is how it's divided between us.
And are you looking to hire? Are there any specific positions that are currently open?
Yes, we are constantly hiring across positions, especially in our sales and customer success functions. Right, we are always actively hiring. We are also
Hmm.
hiring in terms of tech support.
That's the cue for my audience to apply at LimeChat.ai. And Aniket, it's truly remarkable to actually, witness LimeChat.ai shaping the landscape of e-commerce, communication, and facilitating this seamless shopping experience for its customers. So tell me, looking ahead, what are your plans for the future, and what are your key priorities for the next 6 months?
Like I mentioned, the main thing which excites us and why we started this company was to create this fundamental shift in how commerce happens. And so our uh, priority on the product side is to go closer and closer to that kind of 10x experience, which tips people from shopping on websites to shopping on WhatsApp. And in fact, very recently also we launched our GPT, a new version of GPT powered bots, which are able to give a completely human like shopping experience on WhatsApp. Like I mentioned, like you can ask very in-depth questions which you actually get while buying, that hey, are these products safe for me? Do you support cash on delivery? What ingredients are being used? Right, I am suffering from diabetes for 2 weeks and having this in the diet. How can you help? So you can just ask all of these questions on WhatsApp, get recommendations, and buy. So that we are getting closer and closer to that consultative experience that you get in a store, right? And then using this technology, we want to actually go deeper in both of our target markets, right? In our beachhead market, which is India, especially start selling more to enterprises, and also use this technology to actually accelerate our growth, which is happening in the UK and in the global markets as well.
So is that included in the subscription itself, the marketing and customer support? Is the bot, is the chat GPT, is that
Yeah, the
included?
chat GPT part is like an add-on to the subscription. Yes.
Is there anything specific that you'd like to mention that could help you find any external assistance that you require?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if in the audience there are any leaders or people in the teams working at enterprises or at consumer tech companies who want to give a human level experience, right, to during your support, during your lead generation, during your buying journey, during your post purchase or retention journey, or even to enable your internal teams, right? We have actually worked with a lot of brands to enable this kind of experience, and we are one of the leaders to actually help build this kind of experience, right? In fact, like last year itself, we partnered with Microsoft to launch the first GPT powered experience in India, right? So we have always been pioneers in this experience, and we would love to partner with large companies to actually enable them to give that kind of delightful experience to their customers on chat, and actually take this e-commerce evolution forward.
That's amazing, and you're doing such amazing work in the e-commerce space. Aniket, I'd like you to take a moment and reflect on your journey as a founder and tell me what has been the most rewarding aspect of building LimeChat.ai for you.
Yeah, for me, looking back, like the most rewarding thing has been like the connections we've made, the relationships we've built, and the people we've worked with. Right, there are a lot of um, people in our team whom I've seen grow from up close. In fact, several of them have left to run their own companies as well, which are now doing well. And there are several people who have started from entry level to leadership positions now, right? And seeing that growth and playing a small part in that growth has been something very rewarding, right? At the same time, witnessing the growth of our customers from upfront, uh, playing a big role in their growth, right? In fact, seeing some of those brands become profitable because of right strategies on WhatsApp, right? That is one thing which again makes me feel that we are like solving a real problem and creating a real impact, right, in people around us, and that is one big thing which keeps us going every day.
So we are almost reaching towards the end of this conversation, but before we wrap this up, let's do a quick rapid fire round. I've prepared 5 questions for you. Are you ready? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, question number 1. A book that you would like to recommend to the youth that has greatly influenced your career journey.
For me, like a really good book was Zero to One, right? Which I read at the beginning, and also the Lean Startup, right? I think that is something which can help a lot of people, irrespective of whatever, um, whether or not they are running a startup.
Definitely. Okay. Question number two. Which productivity tool or app do you find most helpful in your daily work?
For me, like Notion is like one of the biggest productivity apps which I use. It's always there on my phone and on mobile and on my laptop to organize things.
It's everybody's favorite notion. Okay. Question number three. A fun fact about you that most people don't know yet.
I actually represented India at the International Physics Olympiad in my 12th standard and won a gold
Wow.
medal.
That's great. That's great. Okay, question number four. So there's a saying that don't tell me who you are, just tell me what brands you use. So I want you to describe yourself using just the name of three brands.
I use Decathlon, uh, I use Asics, I use Bose. I would say these three.
Great, great. Okay, last but not the least, what is your one piece of advice for the young audience watching this?
People shouldn't think too much while making long-term decisions. They should focus more on like giving their best, like seeking out opportunities, working hard, and like giving their best, surrounding themselves with like the right people with the right growth mindset and with the right mentors, and focusing on growth, and the rest happens automatically, right? You cannot like control where
Yeah.
you are going to reach in 5 years and how you can what you can do now to reach there. You are the best way I found is that actually just to do the best at what you are currently working on, and surround yourself with very smart people from whom you can constantly learn and improve, and the rest happens automatically.
Very well said. Thank you so much, Aniket, and I hope this was worthy of your time. But before I let you go, I want you to make a wish for LimeChat that you hope comes true in the near future, and that wish has to be made out loud.
Our main wish is that um, eventually like most people start shopping from WhatsApp, right, rather than website. That is going to be like a very key shift for us. So I wish
Of
that
course.
that happens as soon as possible.
Yes, that's my wish too. And here's to LimeChat reshaping e-commerce communication one chat at a time. All the very best, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Ankita. It was really great being on the episode and sharing my journey and about Line Chat and our vision as well.
Likewise, and if you'd like to stay updated with the latest developments and business insights from LimeChat.ai, make sure to follow their channel on follow.us/startups. And thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.